comes higher, and then you'll sit there with yourself looking mighty
Okay, guys. Hey, and welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we're going to be actually looking at the brand new Certina DS Action Precidrive Chronograph, and that's on the right side of your screen there. So what makes this watch different is that it actually uses ETA's PreciDrive movement, which is really cool, and you'll see it in a couple of different Swatch Group watch offerings. I'm sure right now I've seen it mainly in Certinas, but it is a really, really cool high accuracy quartz movement. So I have the other DS Action Diver in there, just kind of to take a look at some of the updates and some, as far as comparisons, some things that are different, some things I like better, some things I don't like. So we'll go ahead and get this rolling. So of course, Certina was founded in 1888, Swiss-made Swatch Group brand, in the middle range. It's stablemates with Mito, which those, Mito and Certina are kind of the lesser known cousins of Hamilton and Tissot, which you'll see a lot in the US. Okay, so this is a dive watch. It, of course, it needs to have it has to be water resistant, normally through a screw down crown, tough, legible, has a nice dive bezel, dive extension. So those are just kind of some attributes of a dive watch. Now this model, the retail price is actually $825, but my wife actually bought it for me for Christmas. So this was a nice early gift. She got it from Joma Shop on a current sale, which was for $469.99. So really great deal, especially considering the movement. So the case size is a 43 millimeter, which it's actually slightly smaller because it's a 43 and some change for the three-hand automatic DS Action. So that's I thought that was pretty cool. It says a 14 millimeter height, stainless steel. It has a flat sapphire with inner AR coating, 60 click unidirectional bezel. It has that great kind of a bakelite insert with the partially loomed index, screw down crown. So you know what? Let's go ahead and kind of take a look. Actually, just to quickly cover the ETA PreciDrive quartz, it's a high accuracy movement. It pretty much will only lose, plus or minus 10 seconds a year, which is 8 to 10 times more accurate than a traditional quartz, right? Which a traditional quartz is already pretty accurate, especially compared to an automatic. So it's nice to have that, convenience of you can just pick up the watch and go. You don't have to put it on a winder. You don't have to go, pull out the crown for 5 to 10 seconds and let it catch up if it's off by a little bit. So I got to say, that's kind of was its biggest draw for me, was that it was a high accuracy quartz, which is cool. And especially in a chronograph, right? Because you would want a chronograph to be accurate. So that was really cool for me. It's one of the things that I really liked. So let's go ahead and zoom out here. And let's take a look at this. Let's get the automatic out of the way, and let's take a closer look here at this awesome Certina. It's new, as you can see, so I'm pretty happy to be one of the first, I think, full reviews on YouTube for this piece. It does have applied indices. You can see it kind of has that sunburst sun ray dial, of course. Polished hour and minute hands, skeletonized also, of course, loomed. Second hand down there, on that sub dial towards the 6 o'clock, or it also have a date at 6, which is nice. I know not everybody was happy with the three-handers date location between the 4 and the 5 o'clock. Also uses BGW9, Super-Luminova. This actually is more water resistant. It's 300 meters water resistant, which is really cool. Nice step up from the previous outgoing model. This one actually has 20 millimeter lugs, which is another nice feature versus 21. So you can actually put this on, a regular NATO or a rubber strap, or, any other option. You don't have to stick with the bracelet, which is actually very nice. It's upgraded in certain ways, which we'll cover. And maybe not quite upgraded in others, just because I think of where this falls within the range of the DS Action range. So you'll see that there are design changes that I appreciate, but I think the finishing and kind of where it is in the range is what kind of limited this watch, and that's where I'll get into some of the where its shortcomings essentially. Let's talk about the bracelet. It is very nice. It has a slight taper to it, as you can see, fully brushed, push pins, but these are all articulated. This isn't just one. Each link isn't just like a 3-piecer. It actually is 3 separate pieces, unlike the previous model, which we'll compare here in a bit. But one of the coolest upgrades is this diver buckle, which is nice. Has a nice push button deployment here, nice push button folding clasp, and it has a more modern dive suit extension. Now this is where we kind of get into. While we're here, let's stay in the positives. Is now the case back is actually stamped versus etched, so we'll also compare that. Also, one of the things I like that I thought was really well designed is the actual end links. As you can see here, do you see how the end link actually cuts in? So this is all flush now, so it doesn't overhang. Let's say if you have a small wrist, it's not going to overhang. It's just going to fit real nice. But anyway, so this dive clasp, right? This diver's extension. This is where design is nice, but execution I think is a little bit lacking. As you can see, this piece right here is actually held in there by just two little what are those? What's the name I'm looking for? But yeah, there's the little pins that hold your the little spring bars. There you go. Yeah, they're just held together by a couple spring bars held in place, which makes it a little bit odd. And as you can see, it's because there's a little bit too much give and a little bit too much play in here. So it doesn't, normally this should be able to push in and out, or it should be able to push in and then be hard to push out. But you basically have to press the button for it to kind of go smoothly, which I'm not crazy about. I think it's kind of a shortcoming, but let's get it on the wrist so you guys can get a nice look at it. It actually does not wear very large. I mean, normally I stick to kind of 42s, my max. Of course, with the sub dials and it being a chronograph, it's gonna run a little bit bigger, especially in a sports watch, because you have to fit everything, those complications in the watch, but you also have to make it waterproof. And of course, this is even more waterproof than the previous model. So I gotta say, rides really well on the wrists. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I own the other DS Action, I would probably be really head over heels for this watch. It is really cool, and let's go ahead and let's run the chronograph, because I think it's kind of the coolest feature about the watch. So these little guys, they're metal. They feel almost plastic, but they actually are metal, and they're DLC coated. So let's get up real close and let's just start this bad boy. So as you can see on the subdial on the right, you got tenths of a second just flying by. And you got the regular second hand ticking away. And then what's really nice is when you hit the reset, it just flies back like a mechanical. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't do the sweeping drone that you normally see on a regular. So this is kind of like a mecha quartz movement, and it's also super accurate, which is nice. So let's run that again. So as you can see, really, really nice feature. I mean, I've actually used this to time things, you know, normally my kids, it's kind of funny. But one of the great things about quartz is it doesn't have to go on a watch winder or anything like that. I mean, if I'm headed out the door and I'm late and I don't have time to set my watch, I can just grab this bad boy, you know, and I can just wear it, and I know that it's a tough watch, you know. It has that it's part of the DS Action line, so it is durable, which is nice. And it's, you know, and it's quartz, so I don't have to worry about, you know, something breaking in a mechanical chronograph, which is going to cost a lot more money to repair or replace. So then, yeah, there you go. So I really, 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 really like this watch and this movement. So now let's kind of do the compare and contrast here. So as you can see, the bezel, although it kind of has that bakelite material to it, it doesn't have the same sunburst effect. Here, on this here, as you can see how it kind of catches the light. This is pretty much just a solid blue inside. It'll never appear black. Where this one will appear black, you know, it's like it pretty much carries on the sunburst effect from the dial. I like the changes in the dial. I think it's actually, you know, a little bit more original. I like the date at 6 o'clock, of course, versus here it's at the kind of 4.5. It has the improved end link. So, I mean, my wrist is pretty large, but I mean, this will be great for other people. And it also has, you know, improved clasp design. I'll just leave it at design because I think execution-wise, the automatic still beats it. As you can see, also same thing for the links here, right? Now, this was just a piece that was 3 sections. These are all individual, so that's just going to make the watch wear a lot more comfortable versus here that's not quite as articulated, right? So then, of course, on the case back, it's really just etched. Here, stamped a little deeper, which is nice. Then, of course, let's take a look at the diver's extension. Yep, definitely an improvement over that. But the build quality it just feels more expensive. You know, this is just kind of in a higher range. And this watch really punches above its weight class. And you'll see that in kind of the $1,000 blue Swiss diver face-off video that's coming. Is that one of the reasons why this watch, you know, makes it into that class, although it's much more affordable, is that it's just so feature rich, and the build quality is that good. And it does check all the boxes, although, you know, there's a couple features that could be nicer. It still has everything. So it's really an awesome piece, and really it's the kind of only shortcoming of this watch is that it is honestly it's not quite of as much of a value as the 3-hand automatic. This watch is definitely for kind of a niche buyer that's looking for something very specific. And not everybody is into quartz, and of course not everybody's into chronographs. And honestly, if you're into a quartz chronograph, chances are you are buying Japanese. So this is just a cool option that that's out there, high accuracy, Swiss made. You know, it does have all the bells and whistles. It's just, you know, it's limited only by where its target market is, and this is targeted at, it's more entry level. It's a more entry level piece versus I'd say the automatic is more of a piece that is entry level, but it's also meant to kind of play with the big boys, right? So let's go ahead and compare the loom, which I think is outstanding on both of these. Let me see if I can get any closer with it still focusing. Okay, cool. That's probably about as close as it's gonna get. So let's take a look. All right, so as you can see here, pretty similar loom. I mean, it's tough to say, you know, which one is really brighter. Both of them, I'd say their hands are definitely much brighter on each, but it looks like the camera just isn't quite picking up on the okay, it's probably hard for it to focus in the dark. So hold on. Oh, it's hard for me to focus in the dark on finding the clicker. All right, so yeah, the actual index here is loomed. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up or not. So let me actually put it up against the studio light and see if I can get it just to charge a little bit harder, and just so it picks it up so we can get that on video here. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. So you can see there the index is a little bit different. It's not numbered, but it does have the little tick marks there that kind of go along. You can see that it actually has both second hands are loomed. You can see the little second hand near the 6 o'clock ticking away, and then the stationary chronograph seconds hand, which is up there. So I'd say the loom is nice and strong. You know, has that great bluish tint to it. You know, really nice. I mean, I'd say the loom is definitely one of the strong points. Of course, this isn't some micro brand diver where it's like, you know, insane loom where it's really trying to be overbuilt and to stake its claim. I mean, this is a legitimate Swiss made watch with a really nice movement. So it doesn't really have to do any of those kind of gimmicky things that you might see from other brands. So yeah, I say right now that it's, you know, depending on what you're looking for, this could be the watch for you. I think it's really nice paired with, you know, with an automatic. It's nice to kind of have that quartz option as well. So, you know, if you like the video, make sure you hit like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and keep an eye out for, you know, more great content coming your way. Thanks, guys.
America.